I'm behind the wheel of a beautiful 2019 AMG E53. The E53 is really special, not only because it's a convertible, but it's because it has that new inline six-cylinder engine, and it actually has 3 different turbo mechanisms in the vehicle. And what I mean by that is kind of traditional. I'll show you. We'll pop the hood and we'll take a little bit closer look. Now I'm pulling it up right behind the C300 so we can kind of look at the differences, look at the 2 cars, and you could kind of see the difference. But anyway, I'll talk about the engine here in a second, but right while we're pulling up here, the E-Class is a larger car than the C-Class. And the cool thing about it is in the past, if you bought an E-Class convertible, it was really built on the C-Class chassis. So we get all-wheel drive in this vehicle, we get the convertible top, and we get a larger platform than previous models. So it actually sits on the same chassis as the sedan. So you get a very comfortable car. So if you wanted not only a convertible with all-wheel drive, and in the 53 with this cool technology, which I'll talk to you about, it's kind of hybridish, and all the great stuff that you would expect as having AMG involved. We put all those kinds of things together, and you get a fantastic vehicle. I'm gonna drop the top right here while we're filming, so you can compare the two. The tops are designed, so we've got a rag top or a soft top on these vehicles, and Mercedes-Benz decided to do that on purpose. One, because it's got a nice traditional look. We get more room in the trunk, and we get more insulation and padding in this vehicle, which makes it really, really quiet. Now I've got some options here. I can push this button right here. I've got this wing that's going to come up and fly over the top of the vehicle. Really, it raises the back shield as well. So as the wind gets diverted up over my hairdo, and those Yetis affect and hit in the back of the vehicle, as they spin back around, it's going to be limiting the amount of turbulence that I'm going to get inside the vehicle. Right away, you're going to notice that I've got a nice spread of beautiful, super high resolution screens throughout here. I can customize what I see. It's all shaded here. It's very, very easy to access and work. I can work it right here. And therefore have peripheral vision. You can see the beautiful swooping lines as they intersect with each other on the door. Got a nice red top stitch here. We've got a nice highly bolstered seat here. Very, very nice. You can see that we've got some suede in the center sections. We've got some nice natural ash wood throughout in the black. Really like the classy look of the clock in there. Note the new steering wheel that we're seeing on all of our new cars. We're going to pick up a little bit more room in the back seat here. Now I'm 6'3". I had this back quite a ways to where I was super comfortable. I could move that up, but you can see that we've got some leg room here, seating for 4. Got high-end Burmester audio. It's gonna rock your world as you're heading up the canyon. Note the exhaust tips here for signifying the AMG and the 53, the round tips. One more very significant thing about this car. I mentioned 4MATIC, but if you notice here, that and we get this in the 53 exclusively here, is that the 4MATIC Plus is either an all-wheel drive vehicle, 50-50 split, or it can be a full rear-wheel drive vehicle or anywhere in between, and the computer's going to adjust that to the conditions that you're driving on. Maybe you're on a track, maybe you're heading up the canyon. It's going to be able to adjust that on the fly. 2 tubes here signify that it's an E-Class. 1 would signify that it's a C, 3 an S. So pretty cool. If you notice here, we got power bulges here. Got metal flake here. Now also, you can see part of the camera there. So we've got a 360-degree camera. We've got Distronic. So the radar is going to sit underneath that. So we've got 429 horsepower, 384 pound-feet of torque. We've got the TC 9-speed transmission, which is a torque converter transmission. Eco start stop, a bunch of those kinds of things will. But the cool thing that I wanted to show you is the EQ boost, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with EQ boost, but what's going to be really really fun about this car is, like some of the technology that you see on the racing circuit and some of those open wheel race cars, you know that they have boosters, they have a coil, they have an electric motor that sits in line. So what we get here is a beautiful car here. I'm going to just snap this off so you can see underneath the cover. But right underneath here, you can see that it's an inline configuration. So obviously an inline cylinder engine is very smooth. It has less components. It's very reliable. But right back here, you can see I've got a traditional turbocharger, and it's massive. So that's running off the exhaust. It's very efficient. There's also, right up under here, an electronic turbocharger. It's going to spool up super, super quick, milliseconds. It's going to rev right up. And then right back here, I have the third booster, if you will, which is a coil. Now, if you notice in this vehicle, right up in here, there's no belts on this engine, because now we're relying on this electric motor, this coil, this hybrid type setup in line with the drive shaft. We can kick it on, or the software kicks it on demand. So we hit the accelerator, we need more power. It'll boost 21 horsepower and like 160 pound-feet of torque, and it's going to kick it hard, and if we need to. And then in conjunction with the other turbochargers, the software is going to control all of this to be very efficient, very smooth, eliminate the turbo lag. Very cool setup. I invite you down to drive it, because you know what, you will be absolutely blown away at how fun this is. And I really believe this is the future going forward. You're starting to see this in the new GLE. We're seeing it in all these different models. I think you're going to see it in 4 cylinders. You're going to see it all across the board over the next 10 years. This is really going to be a staple technology for Mercedes-Benz. And I'll tell you what, it really is fantastic. And I want you to experience it. I want you to come down, drive the car, and see for yourself why it's so special. As we pan backwards, I wanted to just compare the two vehicles. Beautiful flowing lines on the E-Class, nice muscular hips. And so you can kind of see the difference in the two cars. You can also see the size difference. You can see that the E-Class is slightly bigger. It's convertible season. Come on down to Mercedes-Benz of Draper. Let's get you behind the wheel of something that you're going to absolutely love during the summer months, spring, fall, and with these vehicles, even in the winter time with the all-wheel drive systems. That's Steve with Mercedes-Benz of Draper.